Hey guys, it's Eztheal here. We're going to be talking about Path of Exile, and we're going to be talking about the crafting system in Path of Exile, which is actually subdivided into two different types of crafting system. This crafting system based on a sort of a vendor crafting system, where there's different recipes for different items in the game, where you can trade these items for different things, and we're also going to be talking about this another crafting system that involves using these currency orbs to upgrade your gear as you progress through the game into better and better armor and weapons. So let's start with this vendor crafting system. This vendor crafting system is actually really interesting, really complex, and it's pretty fun. Um, there's recipes in the game. Some are provided by the developers, others are not character, player found, in which you can trade certain items like this iron ring and a blue gem for a cold resist ring. You can trade an iron ring and a red gem for this fire resist ring, and the same thing for your green gem. You can get a lightning resist ring. You can go ahead and use this recipe to get an onyx amulet. You can go ahead and trade currency items for other currency items, so 1 orb of alteration equals 4 scrolls of wisdom. You can sell identified blue items for alteration orbs, which will, after you get 20, it will give you an orb of alteration. You can trade non-identified blue or magic items for these transmutation shards. You can trade, let's see, okay, apparently you can trade alchemy orbs for scroll fragments, which you don't want. So that's basically the gist. Here's a screenshot of a Google document that I created that includes all the currently known crafting recipes in the game. I will go ahead and post a link to this Google document at the very bottom. All this information was found on the actual Path of Exile forums, so you can find the recipes on there also. So yeah, let's talk about the upgrading crafting system. So the upgraded crafting system is, I want to make this pretty clear, it's an end game sort of crafting system. I don't recommend you go ahead and start crafting your items for lower level content. It's costly, it's tiresome, it's a lot of RNG, and it's going to frustrate a lot of people unless they have a lot of orbs. So once you get to the level 60 plus content, you're doing maps, you're in Merciless, you're ready to go. That's when you should start doing this crafting. Until then, just look for upgraded rares from drops or buy from vendors if there's better gear on there. Go ahead and just do that. Trade for with other players. It's probably a lot faster and cheaper at that point. Okay. So, okay, let's start. Most people use this method that I call white farming method. What people do is they'll go to a vendor, look for a white item that has very good number of sockets, very good color of sockets, or very good link sockets, or they'll actually go out and farm white gear. Let's go out and farm white gear real quick. They'll go out, farm maps until they find a nice white item that they're looking for. Let's go ahead and kill this guy. See if we can get a white item to use. Okay, no white item there. So basically, once they obtain a white item, so we're going to use steel gauntlets in this presentation, they'll find, they'll be like, alright, this is a good base, good sockets or good socket colors or good socket links. They're like, alright, I want to make this item better. So what they'll do, depending on whether it's an armor or it's a weapon, they'll either use blacksmith whetstones to increase the quality of a weapon, or they'll use armor scraps to increase the quality of a piece of armor. So you want to use white items because every white item, when you use one of these, will give plus 5% quality. Every magic item will give plus 2% quality, and every rare item will only receive plus 1% quality per each scrap used, or each whetstone used. So basically, people like to do it from the very beginning because it requires less scraps or less whetstones. After you get it to 20% quality, which is the max, you want to go ahead and use preferably these orb of transmutations. I don't have one currently, so I'm going to be using an orb of chance. But what these orbs of transmutation do is they'll turn a white item into a magic item. Alright, cool. Okay, so an orb of transmutation will do this exact same thing. Once you have this magic item, you're gonna re-roll it using these Orb of Alterations until you receive 2 stats, because magic items can have a max of 2 mods on it. This one has 3, but only because 2 of these go together. 7 increased armor and 7 increased block and stun recovery go together. So if you're gonna have to re-roll it and re-roll it until you get 2 stats that you want. So let's say you get 2 perfect stats. You have a piece of armor that has health and has increased armor percent, and that's what you're looking for. You're gonna go ahead and keep that, and then you're gonna use a regal orb. You're gonna use a regal orb to turn a magic item into a rare item. Once it's a rare item, you're gonna go ahead and use 1 exalted orb on it. Once you use that exalted orb, you're gonna have to judge if it's worth using another exalted on it. If you have, 2 good stats and 2 really shitty stats, then I wouldn't recommend using another one. Why? Because it's probably not going to be worth it. You only have 2 more rolls. I would recommend just going ahead and doing another white item, grinding, using the armor stones, the armor scraps, and then turning it into another magic item, and then re-rolling until you get good stats, and then turning it into a rare, and doing the procedure again. Um, in the end, you want 3 to 4 really good mods. So 3 to 4 which you would consider perfect mods. Perfect mods. Perfect mods aren't like necessarily stat perfect. They're just things you want. So in an armor, you want cold resist, fire resist, lightning resist, health, and percent increased of armor, right? That's for tank health build characters. So let's say you out of those 5 stats, you get 2 resists and armor increased. That's a good piece of armor. You get health and 3 resistances. That's a good piece of armor. You get increased armor percent and you get health. That's an okay piece of armor, but it's not. There's still 4 other stats that are pretty shitty on it. So basically, that's what you do. In real simple terms, you get a nice base white character. A nice base white item that has good sockets, good links, good colors, and then you use armor scraps or whetstones till 20% quality, and then after that you go ahead and use an orb transmutation. You re-roll it with an orb of alteration till you get 2 perfect stats. You go ahead and regal orbit, and then you use an exalted orbit. Alright, use an exalted orb on it. At that point, it's up to you whether you should continue using exalted orbs on it or if you want to restart the process all over again. So basically, that's all there is to the crafting system in Path of Exile. You're gonna learn that it's actually a lot of RNG, and when it comes to upgrading weapons and making good weapons, it's a lot of RNG. There's nothing you can really do besides knowing, what orb to use, when to use it, how to get the best bang for your buck, basically. As you progress through the game, you'll start learning the concepts and learning when it's better to just go ahead and purchase gear from other players, or when it's better to make your own gear. At the really high levels of the game, when you have enough orbs, it's better to make your own gear, but before that, it's probably better to just buy your gear. It'll be cheaper, and you get gear that you specifically know that you want, instead of hoping for RNG on it. So that's it for this video, guys. I want to thank you for coming and watching this. I want to also remind you that Path of Exile is currently in closed beta and it's going to open beta on January the 23rd. So go ahead and check that out if you haven't already gotten a beta key, and I hope to see you all later.